Hi, I'm Craig and welcome to the 12th and final episode in this series about the solar system. Today we're going to talk about dwarf planets and the differences between regular planets and dwarf planets. So you may have heard of Pluto, which when I was at school, Pluto was considered a planet, but now it's considered a dwarf planet. So why has this changed? Well, in 2006, the International Astronomical Union, the International Astronomical Union, or the IAU, came up with a definition for planet, and unfortunately Pluto didn't fit all the criteria. The three things that the IAU says a planet should do is firstly it should orbit its host star, and in our solar system the host star is the Sun, so the planet should orbit the Sun. So if it doesn't orbit the Sun, it can be considered a planet. Number two, it must be mostly round. So mostly round. Okay? And that is due to gravity. Without strong enough gravity, it looks more like an asteroid, or it's not completely round. Yeah? So it must be mostly round. It must be big enough that its gravity clears all other objects of a similar size near its orbit around the Sun. Big enough so the gravity that it generates, the gravitational force of the planet clears other objects near its orbit, so it's free of debris, enabling the planet to orbit. Okay. Now, Pluto, it doesn't fit all of these criteria. Okay. It does orbit, it is mostly round, but it isn't big enough to clear all debris. So there are currently 5 dwarf planets that have been discovered, and in order from the Sun moving out, these are Ceres, Pluto, which we've just spoken about, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris. Okay, so Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris. And the IAU says that there may be more than 100 dwarf planets waiting to be discovered. Pluto is by far the most well-known of the dwarf planets. It was discovered in 1930 by an American astronomer, Clyde Tombaugh. And it was considered a planet for more than 70 years. But after astronomers discovered there were more similar objects, in the asteroid belt and in the Kuiper belt, they reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet in 2006. And there was widespread outrage, people objecting on principle, and some people felt that they had an emotional attachment to Pluto growing up, believing it was a planet. It was certainly considered a planet when I was at school in the 1990s. So the decision was controversial, and only about 5% of world astronomers voted on the redefinition. Some scientists disagreed with the reasoning of the demotion, and they would say that the word planet is culturally defined, and it has changed its meaning over time, and the difficulty in clearing its orbit depends on the size of a planet and the distance from the sun. So on July the 14th, 2015, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, the Horizon spacecraft, it made its flight through the Pluto system, providing the first close-up images of Pluto and its moons. So Ceres is another dwarf planet, and it is the only dwarf planet discovered in the inner solar system. Okay? The inner solar system, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Outer solar system is after Jupiter. So in the asteroid belt, yeah, between Mars and Jupiter. And just like Pluto, Ceres was once classified as a planet. Ceres, it was the first dwarf planet to be visited by a spacecraft. That was NASA's Dawn mission. Dawn. And Ceres was the first object to be discovered in the main asteroid belt. And it was discovered by an Italian astronomer called Father Giuseppe Piazza in 1801. And it was initially classified as a planet, but later reclassified as more similar objects were discovered in the same region. But due to its planet-like qualities, it was reclassified as a dwarf planet, and the same as Pluto and Eris were in 2006. The observations of Ceres in 2003 and 2004 by the Hubble Space Telescope showed that it is nearly spherical and has a diameter of 940 kilometres, which is 585 miles, and it comprises about 35% of the mass in the asteroid belt. And before Dawn reached Ceres, there were already signs that it contains large amounts of water ice beneath its surface. First, Ceres' low density indicates that the mass of the dwarf planet is about 25% ice, which makes it the most water-rich body in the inner solar system after Earth. So using the Herschel Space Observatory, the Herschel Space Observatory in 2012 and 2013, scientists found evidence for water vapour on Ceres. So the vapour was probably produced by ice near the surface, transforming from solid to gas. And earlier ideas suggested that Ceres water would be in the form of an icy layer wrapped around a rocky mantle. The observations by the Hubble Space Telescope confirmed that prediction. The next dwarf planet found from Pluto is Haumea. Next dwarf planet is Haumea. It was originally called 2003 EL61 and nicknamed Santa. by one discovery team. So Haumea is in the Kuiper belt, which is an icy region, okay, of space, further out than Neptune. Okay, and Haumea is an oval-shaped dwarf planet, and is one of the fastest rotating objects in the solar system. It completes one rotation on its axis in as little as 4 hours. Its fast spin is what distorts the shape, making it look like a rugby ball or an American football. The equatorial diameter of Haumea is about 1,740 kilometres, which is about 1,080 miles. It's about 6.5 billion kilometres away from the Sun. It's 4 billion miles, which is about 43 astronomical units. If you can remember what an astronomical unit is, it's the distance from the Sun, to the Earth, okay, which is about 150 million kilometres, or 93 million miles, and it therefore takes the light from the Sun 6 hours to travel to Haumea. It takes Haumea 285 years to complete one orbit of the Sun. Haumea has 2 known moons. The moons are called Makemake, is the inner moon. Yeah, Makemake is the inner moon, and Haumea is the outer moon, and they're both discovered in 2005. The dwarf planet Makemake is located in the Kuiper belt as well. Also in the Kuiper belt, it's like a donut-shaped region beyond the orbit of Neptune, and it's the second brightest object in the Kuiper belt as seen from Earth. The brightest is Pluto, and it takes Makemake 305 years to complete one orbit around the Sun. The discovery of Makemake and Eris is what prompted the IAU to reconsider the definition of a planet and create a new group of dwarf planets. Makemake was first discovered in 2005 at the Palomar Observatory in California. And it was the first name given to Makemake was 2005 FY9. Before the planet was nicknamed, before the planet was confirmed, and it was nicknamed Easter Bunny because it was discovered a few days after Easter. It's got a diameter of about 1,430 kilometres, 888 miles, and it's about 45.8 astronomical units away from the Sun, and that is about that's about 6.84 billion miles, which is 4.253 billion miles, 6.847 billion kilometres, 4.253 billion miles. And it takes sunlight 6 hours 20 minutes to travel to Makemake. And the time it takes Makemake to rotate on its axis is similar to Earth and Mars at 22.5 hours. Eris is the final planet. It's the final dwarf planet in the solar system. And just like Makemake, it was discovered in 2005. On the 8th of January 2005, scientists announced they had discovered a Pluto-sized world, billions of kilometres beyond the orbit of Neptune. They nicknamed the tiny world Xena, after a fictional character on a TV show called Xena the Warrior Princess. In September 2005, scientists announced that Xena has a tiny moon as well, which they nicknamed Gabriella. And Gabriella was the sidekick to Xena, Warrior Princess, in the show. On the 26th of August 2006, after months of debate about how to classify Eris, the IAU voted to change the definition of a planet, and the new ruling reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet and reduced the number of planets in the solar system to 8. On the 14th of September 2006, the IAU announced that the dwarf planet known as Xena will be called Eris, and Eris's moon is named Dysnomia. The diameter of Eris is about 2,400 kilometers, about 1,500 miles. And it's an average distance of about 10 billion kilometers. 10 billion kilometers, about 6.3 billion miles. And that's 68 astronomical units away from the sun, which will take the sunlight over 9 hours to travel to Eris. It takes Eris 557 years to orbit the sun, and it rotates on its axis once every 25.9 hours, similar to the Earth's rotation. If you like this video, then please remember to like, subscribe, and if you'd like to learn more about anything in this video or would like to improve your English, then please click the link in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.